Great. So I have with me Adil Jehangir. Now you're probably wondering, who is Adil Jehangir? You might have seen a show on BBC Three, Go Hard or Go Home. And I've been watching it and it's so impressive, but it's so hard. Brutal workouts, terrifying challenges, land of the warriors. You've been there and it's continuing. I mean, I've watched, I think about 5 episodes I've watched to the point. Well, we'll talk about that, what to the point later on. But welcome to Lyca Radio and Lyca Gold, Adil. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me today. And I'm glad you've been watching the episodes and you've watched all current 5 episodes up to date. It's good to hear.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely great. So you go to this fantastic land of paradise. You are, it's a land of warriors there. There's 8 Brits there so you are the trainees, 8 of you, and then you're being trained by these warriors who are super fit and know exactly what they're doing. And each one of you have got some kind of story, haven't you? We'll talk about your story as well. But I want to ask you, what made you go into, Go Hard or Go Home? What was your decision? How did you decide?
Yeah, I mean, my decision in order to actually get to Go Hard or Go Home was the fact that, obviously, as you just said as well, we were 8 Brits. We all had a story to tell. And I feel as if my story was never really spoken about too much on a major platform, being from the brown community and suffering with mental health illnesses. I just feel like, no one's really done that before. So I said, why not let it be me who not only is seeking help, but also wants to open a door for others who are looking for help, want to know that, it's actually okay to speak up about mental health. And it's not some cliche where you can't talk about it and it's not considered as important, whereas just your normal health, mental health is equally as important as your health.
Absolutely. And, I love the way they've put you into this, welcome to the land, but then every so often on the episodes, they show a clip of a particular person who, whatever problems they've got, whatever the issues you had. And you talked about insomnia, anxiety, depression, and not having a role model. So your warrior, your trainee who's personally, with you all the time, is kind of like become your role model, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, being out there, like I said, I went there for a purpose. Obviously, I wanted to talk about my story and shed some light on it. But on top of that as well, I always felt as if I didn't really have someone to follow in their footsteps because, either my father was away working quite often or, I being the only boy in the family as well, there was always that pressure on me. But I had no one to actually look up to and be like, okay, how is it truly, what do I need to do in order to be a man or considered to be a man? And being on Go Hard or Go Home and meeting with my warrior Tyrone, it was life-changing because over the period of time that we spent together, we went through so many trials and tribulations, but we were able to overcome them as a team. And overall, I just kept looking at him and everything he did, I admired. Everything that he spoke about, I listened to like full on point. I just didn't miss anything that he said, and I took that all in and I absorbed that, and it's made me the person that I am today.
Yeah. Where is this land of paradise? Where do you fly out really far somewhere?
Yeah, they take us out somewhere far. We don't get told the location.
Okay. Okay.
We go to somewhere in the Caribbean. That's
Yeah.
all I.
Yeah. No,
Get.
that's great. I mean, it looks so beautiful. That's why I'm asking. But also, I want to ask you, I mean, going there and knowing what you have to go through for like 28 days, it's a regime, isn't it, of 28 days? And you go through certain challenges. You had there's element challenges that are part of, the challenges that you do. So water and etc. Did you know what you're getting yourself into? Because it's not easy doing that.
See, no, I'll be honest. I think none of us actually knew what we were getting into. We did it. We all knew it wasn't going to be some holiday to go out to, but we all kind of had a brief idea, thinking, we're going to do some sort of challenges and whatnot. But we didn't expect the extent of what the challenges actually were to occur. So, to our surprise, once we started doing them, we all had a bit of a reality check and a bit of a shock. after the first and second one, you kind of just get used to it. Like
Oh,
you're up for it, you're ready to go for it because you've got this amazing person next to you who's
yeah,
telling you we can do this. If we put our minds to it, we can achieve it. And then from
yeah.
there, you block out anything else out, and then you just go for it.
That, I mean, it sounds like really simple. When I watched it, I thought, wow. And there were a lot of times where the camera was focusing on you, especially when it said, "Ooh, who's going to come out, who's going to not be able to do it." And it was a lot of times that the camera focused on you, because there were a lot of times I felt that you were struggling, and I'm sure everybody was, but obviously I knew I was going to interview, so I was focusing more on you. And
Yeah.
there were times where you were just like, I can't do this. Yeah. And then there was a point where you said, I'm not going to come out like this. I want to do this. And you just stood up and you just ran, when you had to go and ran across the sand, the beach. That's the kind of things that you want to uplift you, isn't it? Because to be honest, we don't in Asian communities really talk about mental health. It's like, if you've got a mental health problem, then there's something wrong with you, which is so unfair and untrue, isn't it?
No, it really is. I mean, for so many years, I didn't speak up about my mental health to anyone,
Yeah.
because I always knew the backlash that I would get from it, because I come from quite a cultural background in terms of my home, being a Pakistani boy as well and being Muslim as well. You know, it adds a bit more of an element into it, because if I turn around and then say to someone, "Oh, mentally I'm not there, and physically I'm feeling like I'm losing myself as well," someone will turn around and say, "Oh yeah, but are you working a full 9 to 5 job? Are
Mm.
you doing this? Are you doing that? Or maybe you should get married." These are the cliche things that you
Yeah. Yeah.
in society. But thankfully over time, once I did come out and I spoke to my mother about it, my mum was very understanding. She was my rock throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
she was that I finally spoke to her about something, because she said to me for so long she felt as if I was walking around with this burden on my chest, and she could feel it, because as a mother's intuition is always right. So for me, I was someone who didn't get any sleep due to my insomnia. There would
Yeah.
be there would be days where I think the most I went in a row was 3 days where I didn't have any sleep.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
and in between that, I felt very fatigued. I was like going in and out of like consciousness so many times. Like
Yeah.
um, I didn't know where I was. I was very dazed, very confused. And then anxiety didn't help with that either. My anxiety would always kick up and make me think that, certain people are talking about me, or I'm thinking too much about my future. Am I doing the right thing now? And then
Yeah.
matters even worse. Depression was the first thing that I was ever, diagnosed with, and that would always be the silent killer for me, because I could be so happy one day, I would have the best day ever, but as
Yeah.
soon as I'm alone by myself in my room, it's just almost as if, I'm back to square one. I'm feeling so down, and I don't know how to get out of it. And I mean, it got so bad to the point where you start considering, is this life worth it anymore? And then you start considering the options of suicide,
Oh God.
and it's such a horrible
Mm.
feeling, because at that point when
Yeah.
you're so isolated and you feel as if you don't have anyone to support you, and you feel as if that you can't even love yourself anymore, you
Mm.
just lose all hope.
Yeah. 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 So did Go Hard, Go Home really, really help you to go there and to realize that because when you do train, you do get adrenaline running inside you. So you do generally tend to be a bit more happier, and your mind is diverted as well, because you're like, we're doing these intense workouts, which, I don't know how, I don't think I could be able to do them. They're really hard. But I mean, to go there, your mind is generally diverted though. Or did you start feeling anxiety? I mean, I know you did, because in one of them you said you did when you came next day on episode 3, I think, on when you came down for breakfast, because one of the days you missed. And you said, I just couldn't face anybody because I know I'd just start crying.
Yeah.
After, yeah. So did it generally overall help you, to go there and train and learn?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's completely changed my life, like the whole purpose of it. At first, I thought it was a bit of a lot of mumbo jumbo that they were saying to us and selling to us. But when you're there, and as you got like as you were seeing, as everyone else will see, as time goes on, within the series as well, um, you know, I start to really have a change in myself and in my heart while I'm actually there. So
Well,
it's got to the point now that I'm home now, and you know, when I was doing the show, I weighed 109 kg. I now currently weigh 88 kg because I
Oh,
put.
wow. Well done.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well done.
I got exercise. I tried to train 6 times a week. On top of that as well, my training doesn't just consist of running and weights and stuff. There's a lot of, you know, mind training that I learned from Tyrone. I do a lot of
Yeah.
meditation, a lot of stretching, a lot of yoga, trying to reconnect with my body, which I've been doing over this time period now. And it's definitely changed how I am. Like my mindset on life. It's just like before I would be happy, but then be sad for an even longer period. But
Yeah.
now it's almost as if, you know, things are starting to feel right. You know, I'm very happy with the direction I'm going in. I look at myself and I feel a lot of self-love now, which I never felt before previously. So, you know,
Good.
self-love is probably the biggest thing that, you know, us as men especially, because men just think, oh no, we don't need self-love, but you do need
Yeah.
self-love.
You
Look at
do.
yourself and tell yourself, you know, I love you for doing this and doing that. So I appreciate myself for a lot of things that I do now. And it's just put me in a whole different headspace, honestly. And that's what and I'm so grateful for Go Hard or Go Home, because that
Yeah.
experience really changed my whole mindset. And being matched up with the warrior that I was with, Tyrone,
Yeah.
he truly, truly did, you know, flick some switches in my brain, and it stuck with me all the way till now. And it's not about just, oh, it's gonna stick now and, you know, I'm gonna stop after a while. This is something where now I can see myself long term continuing this path that I'm on. And I hope that
Yeah.
it's like this as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you know, being there and experiencing other people talking about their problems, because sometimes when we are depressed and we have anxiety, we forget that, well, other people do as well. You know, I'm not the only one. Other people have it as well. You know, a lot of them had anxiety, didn't they? Or they had some kind of fear of water or fear of heights, or, you know, anxiety. But it was, and one of the contestants had cancer as well, who was in remission. So when you hear other people's story, do you actually like feel that, oh, actually, you know, we can all do this together and be together and get better and better?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that that was just a prime example of showing that although you may think that yourself, you're going through something in life, there's always someone else that's going through something either
Yeah.
greater or on the same level as you. So you should
Yeah.
never try to judge someone or assume that, you know, they're living a better life. Because I know for sure, like when you watch the show, you can see some of these guys, you know, they have big personalities, they're always laughing, they're always joking, then they turn around and they
Yeah.
tell this crazy story, and it just makes you stop in your place and think, well, hang on a minute, a second ago you were laughing and giggling so much, and now I'm seeing you bawling your eyes out. Because that is the main purpose of life. You know, everyone's going through something, everyone is suffering in silence, but not enough people are speaking up about what they truly feel
Yeah.
like. For
True.
example, like while I was there, you know, as you mentioned, one of the people suffered with cancer, and that was Dylan, and I created quite a good relationship with him. And I just remember before he came out and told us about what he had gone through, I
Yeah.
would never have thought in a million years that was
No.
why he was there, because
Yeah.
he was just one of the most bubbliest, most funniest, most kindest, and you know, he really put his whole heart into the show itself. So
Yeah.
me to then turn around and hear him say that, you know, he had like such a bad illness and he was suffering with cancer, and that he could have actually lost his life.
Yeah.
It broke us down. You know, it's hard to be around a lot of people, because I remember while we were there was a lot of tears coming out of all of us,
Yeah.
because it all becomes so close, and we're all like basically trauma dumping and telling
Yeah.
each other what we've gone through in life. But you know what? After we finished crying, we would all have the biggest smiles on our faces. And I think
Good.
that's what we need to do more in modern day society. We need to talk up about what we're
Yeah.
feeling and say to each other, you know what, it's okay. If you want to cry, have a cry, let it out. It's because it's better
Yeah.
out than in.
I think so. And I think this is what we have to try and really remember, is that we should talk about, if you have a problem, there's nothing to be embarrassed about it. I have a problem, I need to sort it out, I need to deal with it, and whatever way I can or help I need, I should be able to talk about it rather than feel embarrassed that I'm, you know, not worthy of life. It's just the other way around. It should be the other way around. I've been honestly on the last episode that I watched, I actually thought you were because you go through challenges, and then the last two people that are left, one of them is going to stay, one of them is going to go. And the last challenge, the water one, you came in the bottom two, and then there was a, the warriors choose who's going to stay. I actually thought they're going to say to you, you have to leave, but you know, I'm so glad that you're still there. And did you actually think at that point that, oh no, I'm out of this now?
It did cross my mind, thinking that, maybe this might be it. This may be the reason I leave. But, I truly feel as if, things happen for a reason. I'm a strong believer in that. And I believe that, for me to come in the bottom two at that time, I needed it to give me that extra drive, because as you'll see and others will see moving forward now with the show, my mindset has now shifted into a different gear. And
Okay.
It really benefits me with that. But at that moment of time, did I think I was gonna go? Yes, I can 100% say that I did feel like, this is it. So I was giving everyone a tighter hug than usual and saying,
yeah,
I think this is it. And then to hear them then say, you're staying, that's when a lot of people will see I put my hands on my knees and I put my head down, because I thought I was just gonna burst out crying, because the anxiety was building up in my chest.
yeah,
So
of course,
I was
of course.
anxious to find out
Yeah.
like who's going. I didn't even care about if I was going anymore. It was just, I need to know the answer. It was killing me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's sad that when somebody has to go, but that's what happens in reality TV, right? Somebody has to go, then you do it like an elimination thing. How many episodes are there in total?
I'm not 100% sure, actually.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm going to continue watching them and
Yeah,
see how the progress is.
I think it's probably about six or seven more, or something like that. Something
Okay.
along.
Okay. So we reached 5 already, right? So there's a
Reached
couple
5.
of more to go. Yeah. You know what really also touched my heart was that the warriors, so these guys and girls who are fitness, geniuses, also have had problems in their lives,
Oh,
and it's just like, whoa, you kind of like see them as they're just the perfect person and that's it, and they know their body, they're so confident, they're this and that, and then they come out and they talk about their issues, and you think, like, one of the guys was talking about his child died, who with cancer. She was like 4 years old. One of the warriors was talking about it, and I thought, oh flip, this is just too much to handle. I thought he was just the perfect fitness personality guy and this and that, and then he's been through that. And that makes you realize also that somebody who you're looking up to is also human and can go through things, right? And should be able to talk about it as well.
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we all had conversations with our warriors and other warriors as well, and to hear what they had gone through, it was heartbreaking. As you just said as
Yeah.
well, you spoke about Ash and
Yeah.
Ash's daughter. It was so sad to hear that, he was so excited. I remember him telling us how excited he was when he first initially knew he was going to have a child, and that was his first child. And for her to be born and then told that, oh, she's got leukemia, and then to then be fighting alongside of it, and he was praying each day that, maybe she would be able to beat it, but
Yeah.
unfortunately that wasn't the case, and she ended up passing away. And then you see him talk about it and crying, and you see this big strong warrior who from the outside world looks like, he may be able to do anything that you ask him to do. But then when you speak to him about his daughter and see him break down,
Yeah, I know.
he's so
So
open
sad.
about it. It's so sad, and it just puts
So
you in
sad.
the mindset of, yet again, like, this just shows that everyone is suffering with something.
It's true. Everybody is suffering with something. Well, we wish you all the luck. And Adil, it's been great talking to you. Go hard or go home is something that I've honestly, it's actually like motivated me to, I was actually thinking, right, I'm going to write in my busy schedule now, 1 hour walk at this time, 2 hour walk at this time, or do something just by watching that. And I'm like, if these guys can do it, then we should be motivated to do things as well. Everybody has got something going on in their life. And I wish you all the success. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins and how far you go particularly, because it just feels like it's nice to see an Asian out there talking about these things and so openly. I wish you all the best. I hope you go higher up and you continue with your health regime and your insomnia, anxiety, everything gets cured, and you're absolutely fine, and you're happy in life. That's all we want, isn't it? Happiness, peace of mind. That's all we require in life. So wishing you all the best for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on today.
No, you're welcome. And hopefully one day we'll get into the studios as well. So yeah, London Underground, right? It can get you anywhere. So it would be awesome.
TFL is a lifesaver.
Yeah. Great stuff. I look forward to seeing you at the Land of the Warriors. Welcome to Paradise, Land of the Warriors. 8 Brits fighting this fantastic cause and going in there and doing these challenges. All the best to you. Well done to you as well. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Let's end.